fortune, I guess, because that's a gorgeous place.
I've heard they're asking $500,000.
Is that right?
And that's most of a fortune.
Yeah, I would think it would be for me.
So
does that all that land?
Well, there's not as much land, but there's because it used to be, like
It used to be that whole thing.
It used to be like 400 acres or something. Yeah. But you said that your granny used to go over and work over there?
Yeah, what I was always amazed at, my grandma used to, they lived right here down the road, not far from right here, mile and a half from right here on on Jones's Branch Road, which is the same road that goes straight across to Helton over there, but it's got to be 4 or 5 miles over there, I guess. And
well, you said she walked over the mountain, but I guess that's kind of over the mountain to.
Yeah, I'm sure I bet the road's always been in that path or around there. Because I think she said something about walking across that hill. It's a Perkins Hill. What we call the Perkins Hill.
Yeah.
Before you drop down off to Helton and you go up this side. And I was just always amazed at my granny traveling that far, walking that far, because there wasn't no other way to go, they had to walk. And that's, I should drive over there and measure it sometime, but I imagine it's 5 miles, 4 or 5 miles.
And when was this that she would have been doing that?
Well, let's see. She was born in 1888, and I would imagine she was doing that when she was a teenager.
Right.
I'd say probably that would have been about somewhere around
early 1900s. Yeah.
1901 or 2.
So my great aunt Clara was born in 1900, and my grandmother Mattie Perkins was born in 1902, and they were both born in that house.
Yeah. Well, that might have been what my grandma was doing. Might have been helping take care of kids, but I assumed it was farming.
It might very well have been farm work because it was a big farm.
I almost think because it said they owned that whole valley up to there, up Helton Creek, where the old factory-like thing on the left. I don't know what about that side of the road, but the side the house is on, I think they owned all those bottoms, and they farmed all that, which would have been a lot of
work,
a lot of farming to do. And said they would hire people, and my granny would walk all the way over there. And I'm sure if you done farm work, they started early.
Yeah.
Almost by daylight, usually, I think. I just wonder if my granny got up early enough to be over there that early to work.
And do you think she would stay overnight or anything, or would just be like?
Possibility might have. I don't know for sure. I can't remember her ever saying. She just said she used to walk all the way over there to the Perkins place, and there's the Jones. It almost seemed like it was Perkins' place.
Oh, it was all Perkins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And go over there and work, and possibly did stay over there for the week, or a lot of the time, because I can't imagine walking that far back and forth every day.
Plus doing all the farm work.
Plus doing all the work, because it would take you to walk that far. It'd have to take you
2 or 3 hours.
Yeah, a couple of hours, I think, to go over there. Now they might have been, like people used to do around here. I used to see them. They used to go across by our house, just go across the hill to Shippey's Branch on the other side, and people knew every shortcut and path through the woods,
right,
and stuff too. There might have been some connection that way that you could do and get there quicker. I don't know.
What was your granny's name?
Ollie. She was a Hall to start with, and married. My grandpa was Arn Reedy, and they lived, I assume, over there close to the same place my great grandpa built the house I was raised up in, which was just up the road from my granny's place. And he was a Hall, and so my granny was a hall to start with, but I've heard her tell me those tales about how far it was, and said, if we'd fuss about working or anything, I used to walk all the way to the Perkins place over there and work on that farm, and then walk back home. And it sort of sounded like she did it every day, but I can't imagine how in the world she could have done that.
Right.
But maybe so. I don't know.
That's just amazing. Yeah, I mean, I can remember when I was a kid that they would describe to me the amount of land around the house, and I couldn't even really grasp.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure that whole flat area from the time you get to the bottom of that Perkins Hill, you get down there all the way, probably up there to that church, I would say.
Yeah. Oh, well, the church is on land that was originally my grandmother's or something.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think it went all the way up to the, it was pretty much the whole valley.
There. Yeah, because I know you turn away from the church up that valley, there's more flat land back up in there, I think.
Yeah.
And
wow.
And they probably had the hills too. I'm sure they had cows or no telling. The side of a hill didn't bother anything back in those days because nobody had a tractor to turn over.
Right.
My dad, our old place we farmed down there, we never had a tractor, always had horses. And I'd see him up on the side of that hill with a mowing machine just like that, mowed right around the side of it, Of course, that thing with horses pulling it, that wasn't much danger of it turning over, I don't think, or anything.
Right.
You get a tractor, if we'd have had a tractor up there, somebody got killed for sure,
Right.
Because
well, that's how they lost Merle Watson. So.
Yeah, and been lots of farm people. Two of my favorite guitar players, Merle Watson and Sam McGee, both got killed on a tractor on the
side of a hill,
turning over on them.
Yeah.
And Sam had been a farmer forever. He was 83 years old when that happened. And so they're dangerous things. And those horses, I remember watching my dad, pull a mower and hay rake around the side of those hills that you wouldn't dare put a vehicle on or a tractor or anything.
Right.
And so they probably farmed them too, but that was everybody always talked about that being such a nice farm because of those flat bottoms up and down the creek there. And because that was fairly unusual for around here, for it to be any flat land anywhere.
I hadn't really thought about that, but it's true. Isn't it?
Yeah. And I remember my dad and all the folks talking about that place over there being such a nice farm. And that's the main reason, because, we had a little, probably an acre and a half flat place right down below the house where we'd put the tobacco patch and a corn patch rotate around. And there's a 6-acre flat place smack on top of it up there, but a long ways from the house.
Right.
That's the only flat places we had on our place. And then you'd go off down to New River toward Independence and see all those big old flat bottoms. And that's where all the rich people,
that's where the rich farmers were.
Yeah, they had all that flat land. My dad used to claim his land is worth twice what theirs was because it's set up on its edge. You could use both sides of it.